your idiot colleagues at MSNBC, Fox News, these people, CNN, I haven't heard anybody say one peep about this young man losing his life. This young man worked his tail off in college so he could come out of college and be a first lieutenant in the United States Army. And it was a good chance he was probably going to end up in the Middle East somewhere. It was a good chance of that. So these people in the White House, and that's what Steve Bannon represents, the alt-right. White House didn't say anything. They didn't say anything, Rev.
And there's no calls for investigating the group that he's with, whether there's going to be more attacks. None of that. Just like it does not matter.
Like I said, Rev, the colleagues at MSNBC, CNN, nobody touched on this young man lost his life over this alt-right crap. And Steve Bannon, let's break it down. He basically was the head of the alt-right. And the news media, investigative reports, where are they, Rev? Where are they? I'm disappointed in the news media. All we talking about Trump help me, Rev, help.
Well, I can't help you with that because I'm asking the same question, and I'm saying that those of us that stand up right away, here we go again, they starting trouble. Why they doing that? Because it's wrong. Because it is wrong. And because it could be any one of us. Let's go to Dwight in Detroit, WCHB 1200. Let's stay in Detroit, home of Mildred Gaddis. Dwight?
How you doing, Reverend Al?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm doing fine. You know, first of all, I just want to say, here's another compliment to Brother Tommy. Because whenever I hear him talk, it makes me know that I'm not crazy all by myself. Secondly, Reverend Al, I want to say thank you for keeping it real. I heard you this morning on Tom Joyner. And you keeping it real. See, what happened in Manchester, England, when I saw it, I said, oh my goodness, here's another diversion, although we didn't create it, but here's another diversion. And every time there's a diversion, those evil deeds that the people do at the Trump organization, they go by the wayside. Do you realize that we've never dealt with Jeff Sessions lying during this confirmation hearing?
That's right.
And so when we talk about keeping it real, and you talked this morning, and you started off your program, what's real to us is what's really happening. That is how they're cutting welfare. And welfare does not only go to just people on food stamps or Medicaid, it also goes to our students, because half of our disabled students are actually covered by Medicaid. When you talk about, I live in Michigan, and I'm surrounded by the largest body of fresh drinking water in the world. And yet, they are going to take away all of the money that President Obama generated in order for the restoration of the Great Lakes. How can you try to not preserve that which is the most valuable? The water, the air, and then when you talk about climate change, he doesn't believe that climate change even exists. And so here you got a person who, Reverend Al, you have daughters, right?
Yes.
I have daughters. Now, if my daughter was dealing with a drug addict, wouldn't you be concerned?
Absolutely.
If your daughter was dealing with a gang member, wouldn't you be concerned?
Absolutely.
So when you look at who this president is actually reaching out to and bringing into his organization, first you've got the president of Turkey, who is actually a totalitarian, and he's put all the power in his hands. When he reaches out to to this president in the Philippines who has declared martial law in this country. When you look at the fact that he has never, ever spoke against Vladimir Putin in any way, when you look at, he spent $16 million to drop the Moab bomb in Afghanistan that killed 32 people. That's 500,000 per people a head. When you look at, he goes into Saudi Arabia, the country that we all know that all of those people who bombed the Twin Towers in New York came from. And they have no civil rights for their women. And they don't, and you're talking about beheadings. Beheadings were happening in Saudi Arabia all the time. But these are the people he is reaching out to. He is trying to sell weapons of mass destruction all over the world so his friends can get rich. And to tell me that I shouldn't be concerned about what he is doing says that obviously you're not looking at the same picture, or either you don't care. So I thank you, Reverend Al, for staying on point, because what's important to us is what happens to us as a people.
And we've got to continue to unapologetically say that, because if we don't, then no one's going to stand up for us but us. And I'm telling you that we cannot, and I shall not be silent about it. I mean, it is absolutely imperative that we don't co-sign our own demise with silence. There is no excuse for silence. There's no excuse for everyone not knowing in this country the name of Richie Collins, this young man killed at Bowie State. There's no excuse for everybody not discussing what happened to Terrence Crutcher and to all of the victims all over this country. Until we keep it out front, there will not be any resolve to it. And I'm telling you that one thing, I may win some, I may lose some. You may win some, and you may lose some. But they'll never win my silence. They will never, ever win my co-signing my own demise by my silence. Think about that. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Keep it real. Shopton right after this.